Okay, so if I have 4 to the exponent of 3, it basically means 4 times 4 times 4. But again, a question like this is something that you really want to do in your calculator rather than doing it manually. So I'm just going to type 4. I'm going to hit the exponent button. I'm going to hit 3, it equals, and I get 64. If you look at the second example, we'll realize why we don't want to write it out. We don't want to write down 2 times 2, 16 times, and then put that in our calculator. Very high probability of making a mistake. I'm going to type 2 to the power of 16 in my calculator. Get 65536. With negative exponents, you kind of want to understand how to turn them into a positive exponent. Again, I could have typed this into my calculator. Okay, I've just gone 3 to the exponent, negative 3, and then converted that to a fraction. I would get 1 over 27. But again, you want to learn how to manipulate negative exponents because sometimes we'll have questions with letters, as we'll see later on. Anytime you have a negative exponent, you make it positive by moving that term to the denominator. So that's just 1 over 3 cubed. You know, 3 cubed is 27, so we get 1 over 27, which is what we see in the calculator. Again, part 4, you could type this straight away into the calculator if you wanted to. So I'm going to show it manually. So that's going to be 2 over 3. I flip my fraction, and now my exponent is positive. So that's nothing but 2 cubed over 3 cubed. I've distributed my exponent to each term, which is 8 over 27. Okay, but for part 5, when you have a fraction in your exponent, you just want to type that into your calculator. Typically, that's the best way to solve it. I'm going to start with opening a bracket. I have 4 over 3 in my bracket. I'm going to close my bracket. I'm going to put my exponent sign. I'm going to put 3 over 2. Oh, don't forget to put a bracket in the exponent as well. So 3 over 2. I get 1.54. So you can't really convert this to a fraction. Sometimes you'll only get decimals for your final solution, and that's okay. Again, for this next one, I'm going to do it in my calculator. So 4 to the exponent of 4 over 3. 6.35. If I look at question 7, I have two numbers with exponents multiplying by each other. If the numbers are exactly the same, I can combine them, and if they're multiplying, I can add the exponents. So that would be 2 to the power of 4 plus 7, just 2 to the power of 11. Again, you could put that in your calculator. Get 2048. Okay, sometimes we can get questions with letters as well. Since the letters are exactly the same, I can just do a 3 plus 5, just a to the power of 8. Again, if you look over here, the bases are exactly the same. They're x plus 5, x minus 5. All right, x minus 5, power of 10 plus 15, which is x minus 5, power of 25. You want to be careful because if you're adding or subtracting in a bracket, you cannot distribute the exponent, only if you're multiplying or dividing. And again, we'll take a look at that rule in the next couple of examples. So if you look at number 10 here, again, I didn't really put enough space for this. I'm going to grab another paper. So squeeze number 10 over here on this one. Okay, so if I look at this, everything is multiplying and dividing in the bracket, which means I can distribute my exponent to every single one. When you have an exponent to an exponent, you are multiplying exponents. So first I get a to the power of 2 times 5, which is 10. B to the power of 3 times 5, so that's b 15. C to the power of, if there's no exponent, it means it's a 1, so 1 times 5 is 5. And d to the power of 4 times 5, so that's d to the power of 20. If I take a look at question number 11, it's pretty similar to 10, but what we notice is there's a plus in the numerator here. So again, like I said, if you have a plus or minus, you can't distribute to each individual one. So I'm going to start off by opening a bracket and writing a cubed plus b squared all to the exponent of 5. In the bottom, I can distribute my exponents, so I'll have c5 d20. Okay, similar for this question here, but I have a negative exponent. I'm going to start by turning that into a positive exponent. So I have ab over a plus b. I flip my fraction to the power of 5. Now I'm going to distribute my exponent. So that's a5 b5 over a plus b all to the power of 5. Okay, last few questions. As you see in this one, I have -3 inside a bracket to the power of 6. So that's basically -3 times -3 times -3 times -3 times -3. Okay, which is basically, again, I'm going to put this in my calculator, -3, positive 729. If you look at the difference between 13 and 14, in 14 my negative sign is not inside the bracket. So if I was solving 14, I have a negative sign, and then I would just have 3 multiplied by itself 6 times. So again, if I put this in my calculator, I should get negative 729. So a slight difference between inside and outside the bracket. If it's inside the bracket, you're going to constantly repeat that negative sign as well. If it's outside the bracket, you're only going to repeat the number. For problem number 15, we're just going to do a problem like this in our calculator. That's 4th root of 1200. So first I'm going to type 4. Then I'm going to hit shift and the exponent button to give me that x root. I'm going to type the number of 1200. Get my solution 5.89.